WBTV has learned more details about some of the people arrested during a recent ICE raid. You may remember it happened last month at the Buckeye Fire Equipment Company in Kings Mountain. We were showing you these images with demonstrators' opposition across the street from the company during that raid. At least 8 of the 30 people arrested have been formally charged. Now, according to the affidavit, 7 of the people arrested had previously been deported and are charged with illegally re-entering the country. An 8th person was charged with using false documents. According to the affidavit, Jose Cruz Lopez used a friend's identity who had legal status in our country to get a job at that company. Officials say they were carrying out a search warrant as part of an investigation into alleged identity theft. Authorities said they believe someone was using fraudulent documents to employ people not authorized to be in the United States. We're working to find out who the remaining 22 people arrested are. Authorities said the number of arrests could increase past 30 as the investigation develops. Live at 5 Fresh.